Welcome back to the Pirate Ragnar channel. My name is Alistair, and I have just the slightest, tiniest little bit of whinging that I really need to do about licensing. And also some planning. I should have been looking at the BC licensing criteria or restrictions a little bit more clearly. For some reason was under the impression that once I did the skills test, the one restriction I would still have is I can't have someone on the back of the bike. That's not the only one. It turns out you also can only ride from sunup to sundown, which as an experienced rider seems crazy to me. I understand that they're looking out for people's safety, but I also know that some of the most important experience that you can get is riding at night. Riding at night can be dangerous, but it's also something that happens to people when they don't really plan for it. If you're a brand new rider and you finally get your full license and you go out for a really, really long rip the way you'd originally planned, and then something happens to your bike and one thing after, you might suddenly find yourself riding at night. And according to the government of BC, you shouldn't have had any experience with that beforehand. So that's just my personal opinion. I'm sure there's an argument for it in either direction, but I just had to say that. It's also very, very frustrating again to me because I'm being required to go through this licensing fiasco when I shouldn't. If I just done the original paperwork and brought everything that I needed to begin with, I would be recognized as an experienced rider, and this wouldn't be something that I'm going through. So it is a little frustrating for me. I just needed to get that little complaining out. But I also knew that now that I'm back on the bike after 10 months of not being able to ride, I have a lot of riding to make up for. And I'm the kind of person that wants to try and fit all of that riding into a single day, which arguably isn't the best choice, but it's something that I wanted to try and do. So it was my opportunity to do something I've done in the past, but I've never really planned out properly, and I've never recorded properly. So that's 1,000 miles in one day, or at least within a 24-hour period. Now I can only ride from sunup to sundown, so that seriously restricts the amount of time that I have in order to do it, and it's not really reasonable to do it. But let's say in a perfect world, I was allowed to do the Iron Butt Challenge this year. What was my plan? Well, this was the route that I was thinking. Now, a lot of people here in BC, if they're going to do this challenge, if they've even heard of it, they do Vancouver to Jasper, somewhere up this way, and then back again. Well, there's a lot of issues with doing that right now. I don't think there are currently any roadblocks or anything at the provincial borders, at least between Alberta and British Columbia. We never really know when those things are going to pop up, and it's just something that I wanted to try to avoid. Plus, I'm one of those annoying people that, although I'm very aware that the ride in one direction can be a very different experience than the ride on the exact same roads back in the other direction, there's still a part of me that when I'm planning it out on the computer, the last thing I want to do is take a huge trip up in one direction and then take that same road all the way back. So I planned this trip that, it only went over itself once out here near Revelstoke, so I could get into Revelstoke and then I could head back home down the southern part of the route. My assumption is that I'm going to go north first and then circle back around, head south, and then get back into Squamish. But lo and behold, I'm realizing that's really not an option, not with the time restrictions that I have. But also, you might not know this, but currently most of BC is on fire with a whole bunch of forest fires that we have all over the place. And with those forest fires come closed roads in many, many sections. So this is the only one right now that I'm concerned about. The rest of the trip that I've now decided to plan instead, which is this, does seem to avoid most of the known road closures and most of the forest fires. So again, with the exception of this one right here, which I'm really hoping doesn't completely close down 99 up there, and hopefully the traffic isn't backed up too much. If there is a restriction in traffic or something like that, then this is a route that I should be able to take. Most of the forest fires on the inland and the southern part of BC are up the Highway 1 corridor. So again, taking this loop out towards Kamloops and then down through Chilliwack and well, not, I guess, through Chilliwack. I want to take the north side of Fraser River. Long story short, though, I'm really, really hoping that this is going to work. It's going to test Malls for sure. She's not done a long trip in quite a while. She's certainly not done 800 kilometers in a single day. The Iron Butt Challenge is 1,600 kilometers in a day, so it does show me that I can kind of use this first attempt at it to make sure that I feel up to doing the trips, and Malls feels up to doing the trip. And also, if I can make really good time, then there's still a chance I can do the Iron Butt Challenge this year, but we'll see. it's unlikely, especially because days are only going to get shorter and shorter and shorter from here. I just have to do it to try. So this is what the plan is. I also then started looking at the weather, and I don't want to wait till next weekend. I'd really, really like to go Saturday or Sunday to go ahead and do this. Sunday, at least in the northern part up towards Pemberton, and then east out towards Kamloops and stuff. It's looking like Sunday is much more likely to rain. Now, I will happily ride through rain. I have gear that makes it reasonable to try and do that, but it's not really what I want to do on my first decent ride after not being on the bike for that long. It looks like tomorrow's probably going to be it. When I upload this video, chances are it will be either tonight, Friday night, or tomorrow morning. So there won't be much time for people to give me any feedback or anything, but along the route, I'll certainly check notifications and see if you guys do know of any road closures. Those of you that are in BC, if you know of any road closures that appear to be on my chosen route here or have any suggestions, please let me know. I've gone ahead and mapped out the gas stations basically that I'm going to need to stop at, because Malls does have a rather restrictive about 150 kilometers that I can go between tanks. I'll have the roto pack on the back of the bike, but taking it off and filling up on the side of the road and then filling up again at the gas station, that's very, very time consuming and something I'd like to avoid. That's what I've done. And with any luck, one of the next upcoming videos will be 800 kilometers in a single day after 10 months off the bike. So wish me luck. I really, really appreciate you guys tuning in. And as always, ride safe and ride fun, and I will see you on the next video.